Harriet Jacobs was born a slave in 1813. Harriet's grandmother Molly had been freed by her owner, but was later kidnapped and re-enslaved. Because of this, Harriet's mother was doomed for a life of slavery, as were Harriet and her brother John. Harriet and her brother taught themselves how to read and vowed to escape after they were sold at auction and separated from their mother and grandmother. Harriet's grandmother was eventually freed again and allowed to live in a house on the plantation where Harriet and John were also living as slaves. When she was 15, her master began harassing her. Hoping for protection, she began a relationship with Samuel Sawyer, a lawyer who would later become a U.S. congressman and father Harriet's two children. Harriet's master was so mad about the relationship that he sold Harriet to his brother, but Harriet eventually escaped and began living. Meanwhile, her harassing master offered her children along with her brother at a discount to a slave trader, but only after the slave trader promised to separate them and sell them individually. He did as promised, but instead sold the entire family to Sawyer. The slave Raping congressman who had promised Harriet that he would free their kids and her brother. He, of course, never did. Sawyer did, however, send the kids to live with their great grandmother Molly, who was still living on the plantation. This at least gave Harriet some relief because she had the opportunity to watch her children grow up. And if you're wondering how she did that, if she was a runaway, well, Harriet was living right underneath her former master's nose. During the day, she would hide in a nearby swamp. At night, she hid out in Molly's attic, never revealing her presence to her kids. The attic had no light and at its highest point was 3 feet tall. Harriet managed to drill a hole in the cramped crawl space so she could read the Bible and watch her children. She lived that way for 7 years. Eventually, she escaped to New York, where she was reunited with her children and her brother, who had been sent north by Sawyer, but still essentially lived as slaves. Because of the fugitive slave laws, the evil enslaver still technically owned Harriet. Ever so often, he would find out where she lived, and she would have to go into hiding again. It wasn't until 1852, when Harriet was 39 years old, that an abolitionist for whom Harriet worked for as a nanny would purchase her freedom for $300. The RAPIST congressman who still owned Harriet's children and brother finally sent them to free states to live with Harriet. She spent the next 5 years writing the story of her life, but no one would publish it. In January 1861, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl was finally released, and Harriet became an abolitionist icon.